Hey guys, I'm currently live on Twitch as this video is being uploaded, so if you want to come say hi or ask any questions, feel free to join my stream at twitch.tv/TooSmartNA. You can also find the link in the video description when you press show more. I'll be trying to stream as much as possible, and I hope to see you guys there. The first tip is crosshair placement. A lot of people know about crosshair placement, but they still don't fully use it. A lot of times I see people, running around looking at the ground whenever they see someone, they like flick up onto them, and that's just really unnecessary. What you want to do is have your crosshair always at head level. That way it'll be a lot easier to get headshots as you don't have to, do anything crazy. You don't have to go for any crazy flicks. You just simply create your crosshair, which is generally a very short distance, and get more reliable headshots. Also, when you're peeking common angles, so say you're taking arch control here, and you want to clear out this angle and this angle, you can kind of pre-aim it, right? So you're already head level, and say someone plays here a lot, or it's a common angle, so you kind of just pre-aim it right here, and you can kind of clear it with already looking at it through the wall. That way you really don't have to move your crosshair that much at all. If they're there, you can just shoot. So it's not a pre-fire, but it's a pre-aim. So you're gonna kill them very fast because you're already looking there. All you have to do is just click. The second tip is simply get FPS Unlocker if you don't already have it and your computer can handle higher FPS. This game is very rewarding to higher FPS. That doesn't mean it's unplayable for 60 FPS. This game is definitely playable for 60 FPS. So if you don't have like a good enough computer to run higher, then that's totally okay. But with that being said, it is better to have a higher FPS. So if you don't have FPS Unlocker, I would strongly suggest getting that, as it'll definitely help you. I'll link it in the description, but I think that higher FPS is definitely going to benefit you. So that's my next tip, is definitely get FPS Unlocker if your computer can handle it. The next tip kind of goes hand in hand with the last tip, and this tip would be to crouch. Crouching is really powerful in this game, especially if you have higher FPS, as higher FPS makes you crouch faster. Um, and I would say only specifically for this game, crouching is very good, and you just want to just crouch shoot basically always. This also kind of helps new players because new players generally have a hard time understanding like how you have to stop before you shoot, and that you can't run and shoot. So this kind of helps in both ways, that if you're crouching, you're going to be accurate, like you know that you're stopped moving because you're crouched, as well as it's very powerful. So my next tip is going to be about peeking correctly, and basically this goes to 95% of the time when you're peeking an angle, you want to be as far back off the angle as possible. So for example, if you want to peek this from here, instead of peeking like this, you want to peek as far back as you can. So it's more like this. From here, they'll be able to see you a lot faster. You have to show more of your body in order to see them. And it'll take longer for you to actually see them. However, if you're further back, it's a much faster peek. You can see them a lot faster, and they don't see you as much. Overall, it's a way better peek on basically every single angle that you can think of. Now this is like sometimes if you have a shotgun or something, you want to hold a really close angle, that's totally fine. But for most cases when you're peeking into somebody, you want to be far back. These next few tips are going to be more on the advanced side. This one being taking map control, and what that really means is there's if you know that there's open space, or there's a 90% chance that there's open space, it's taking that space before the enemy team takes it themselves, and it puts you in a better position. So for example, if it's a 5v5 game, they generally play 2B and 3A, and you get 2 early picks off B. They both pick you, you get 2 early picks. Instead of, walking into B, clearing your angles, making sure no one's here, taking your time, instead of doing that, you know that it's probably clear because you just killed 2 here and they normally play 3A. So they're probably rotating, and while you're taking this slow, they're going to be rotating to where they're already going to be CT. So instead, you can just kind of take it fast. You can still, like, check your angles and stuff, but overall, you check it a lot faster. And you can get into positions like this, where they're not here, so you're able to walk all the way over here, and then you start walking here, so they're probably already starting to rotate. And then boom, now you're in a really good spot because they're not going to expect you to be here. And when they walk through CT or walk through here, you have the angle on them perfectly, and you can just kill them. And there's plenty more examples for that, but that's just a quick example. Basically, it's just if you know something's clear, or you know there's a high probability that it's clear, just go faster. You know, you can still check your corners and stuff, but play faster and try to take that space so that you're in a better position. You know, you have more map control, you have more control over the game, and you have less angles to worry about. Impactful plays. So this tip is a tip that a lot of people could use. There's a lot of players out there that get a lot of kills, but they complain about their teammates, and you know you as a teammate kind of feel like they're not really doing as much as their score says, and that's because they're not getting impactful kills. Um, Impactful plays can be a lot of things, but right now I'll talk about entry frags specifically. So basically, if you have a team behind you and you're running out A site, and you run out here and you get the first pick, and then you instantly die. Well, you just set up your whole entire team for success because you got one kill, and now it's basically a 4v1 or 3v1, however many you have here, and that person just got done killing you. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to then readjust and kill your teammate when they're already wide swinging. So your teammate should have a free kill here. That's a perfect death traded, and boom, they have site fully free, and they can plant bomb, and now they're playing retake, and essentially, if they play it correctly, it's just a cleanup from there. So they'll just clean up the kills, and maybe one person gets all four of those kills. Well, those four kills were arguably just as impactful as that one singular kill that you got in the beginning because you opened the round up completely for your team. You just got your team the whole site, and that was because you went in and got the first kill. So that's the difference between impactful kills and lesser impactful kills. So always make sure that you're playing as impactful as you can, right? You're not just running around baiting your teammates, trying to get kills that don't matter. Like try to get kills that do matter in the beginning of the rounds, setting up your team for success and making sure that you're helping your team out. This next tip is going to be taking calculated risks. You see this a lot in clutch plays, considering there's not always going to be a safe option in a clutch, and at some point you're going to have to take a risk in order to make a play in a clutch. And so this can also be used when you're down numbers and at a disadvantage into the round. You want to get back into it. So for example, if you have a normal setup on CT side Mirage, which is generally going to have one guy window, 2B, 1A, and then one guy like connector A. Let's say your mid player dies and your B players here, players B. Well, you know that now there's players mid and players B, and it's probably going to be like a B split because that's simple. So as an A player, it's not worth rotating right away because that could be risky as they could just be poking and making some noise. So instead, what you can do, this is a calculated risk, you can take the risk to come down here and actually peek and make sure ramp's clear. That's a risk in itself, but it's a calculated risk because now that you know that's clear, you can tell your mid guy to rotate B, and then you can pick up mid. So now you have three players B and one guy mid. So it's basically going to be the same thing as a 5v5, considering the fact that you already have the information that no one's going to be A. Minimap and common angles. Okay, so the minimap is probably one of the most important tools in the whole entire game. I use it every single round of every single game that I play. And for example, if from the last tip that I just gave about the Mirage setup, well, looking at your minimap can tell you where your teammates are. So you can tell them, you can see what setup they're using, and you can also see the enemies. So for example, if your teammates B don't have a mic, obviously, or you're playing casual, you don't know them, and you see that they see people B, well, that's the same thing, right? You can now do your calculated risk play. So overall, it's just such an important tool. I always check my radar every 5-10 seconds to see if I'm missing anything. So it'll really help you in the game. It's crucial information that you need to have, and if you're not already in the habit of checking it every once in a while, make sure you practice, get into the habit of doing that and making sure you can check it efficiently and quickly, and actually retaining the information that you're getting and how to adapt with the information that you get. As far as common angles go, there's so many on so many different maps, so I won't go over the actual angles themselves, but it's in general, it's good to know the common angles so that you know what to expect when you're going around a corner, for example, as well as you know where to play yourself as a good spot for each play. You don't want to only use these angles, but it's good to have a reference of what's good and what's bad. Um, and the way you learn these will mainly just come down to how much you play. If you play a lot, you're going to learn all the common angles because you're going to be getting killed from there. You're going to be getting kills from there. You're just going to learn what works and what doesn't work. And that's just the best way to learn them is just to play as much as you can and actually learn from what's happening. If you guys do want me to make a video on each specific map with tips and common angles, I can look into doing that. So just let me know if that's something you guys want to see in the comments down below or something, and I'll maybe make something like that, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Now this next tip is super simple. I hope most of you guys already know about this, but the sprays in this game are super simple. Most of them just go up like that, or sometimes some of them go to the opposite side. And because they're so simple, it's good to just master them. It's a good advantage to have in game. So because the bullets go up like this, you want to pull your crosshair down in the opposite direction. So they go up like that. You want to pull your crosshair opposite, so down like that. You only want to focus on the first couple bullets, so just like that. So you just want to master this. Doesn't take long, isn't hard to do, and that'll definitely help you out if you don't already know them. The last tip, and the most important one by far, is simply practice, right? If you want to improve, you have to put in the work and practice. The more you practice, the more you're going to improve. You can practice by playing a lot of deathmatch to get your aim up. You can practice, playing unranked, competitive, casual. Anything will help. The best way to efficiently practice is going to be actually trying to learn from your mistakes and understanding, what's happening and why is it happening. And also, what are you doing and why are you doing it? Is trying to think about what's happening in the game and um, how to react to that and how to do things better if they didn't work out. But yeah, just critical thinking will always help you improve, and just putting in the hours. So yeah, just if you want to get better, you got to practice.